Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. I'm Bob DeMarco. Coming up, two cool ones in the state of the collection, one from Off Grid, one from CJRB. We're going to take a look at some of my favorite locks and their examples. And guess what? That is also the topic tonight. We're going to talk about favorite lock types and favorite examples of those things. Of course, we're talking about folding knives. And it's interesting. You know, tonight we're going to talk about folding knives. Last week and for the midweek supplemental, we talked mostly about fixed blades. And I didn't realize this, but some people are just really adamant in their dislike for folders. And dare I say folder guys even. I've read some comments lately, sort of begrudging both. Someone said that they wish I had a channel for all my cool fixed blades and then another channel for all my dumb folders. And, it was probably tongue in cheek a little bit. You can never tell, you can't exactly interpret tone on these things, but on comments, but yeah. So tonight we're going to talk about locking knives. Another reason we're going to talk about locking knives is that Ben Belkin put out a challenge. Flip flat. How's it going, man? My favorite lock type is fixed. Yes, you're one of the guys I'm talking about. It just seems to be stronger and safer to me. Well, no doubt. Depends on your usage, and mine, admittedly is super light. So I get to enjoy them all, including swords that I never have to fight with, hopefully. Flip Flat says, never had a fixed blade do a Vosteed raccoon on me yet. Funny you should mention the raccoon. I just sold one to a guy that I work with, a non-knife guy. But I left him with a desk full of knives, and he did the research. And he said, even though I saw that some people's raccoons folded when you spine whacked them, this one doesn't, so I'll buy this. Robert Douglas, just popping in. How you doing, man? An early night. Have a good one, y'all, or all, and hit the like button. Lock back, buck 110. Later, boys. Love it, man. I love your deftness. Have a great night and a great weekend, Robert. Have a nice day. Good to see you here. Good evening, Junkalos, he says. Good evening to you, sir. We all know that you have a preponderance of cool fixed blades, but you're also into the folders, just like this gentleman. And gentleman, he is. How you doing, Dave? This old sword blade reviews. Evening, blade lovers. Favorite lock type is Hogue Plunge Lock in any flavor. They did it first and best. Kudos to Mr. Elishewitz. Yeah, no kidding. I had the plunge lock, and man, I let it go. I had the EX01, and that was a cool knife. I think I gave it away. JVF, good to see you here, all the way from France. Hello there. Sorry for the horrible pronunciation. Hello there. I like a lot axis locks and variations. I do too, and I'll show off when we get to it a little bit later on. I'm going to show you all of my favorite examples from all the lock types that I have anyway, including some wild horses, some wild cards, like the shark lock, where I only know of one brand of knife that uses them. Byron Kennedy, how's it going, sir? Howdy, Bob. Jim Junkies, best night of the week. That's right, because this is the beginning of the weekend, is how we're going to put it from now on. We're rebranding Thursday Night Knives as Thursday Night Knives, where the weekend begins. Blade Ogre, good to have you here, sir. I saw your post just t'other day. I've been on Instagram a bit more. James Moore made me laugh just moments ago. I saw first of all, hello, James. Great to have you here. And he bids us all a happy Thursday night knifers, one and all. But man, I sent him what's the guy's name? Thierry, French knife maker, beautiful stuff. And this had some like antique, what do you call it? Petrified walrus bone, something. I said, this is a natural material. You have to be able to get behind. Look at how gorgeous that is. And he sent it back to me. It says that would look good on an end table. And that just made me crack up because there's no accounting for taste. And we go back and forth on this, but he is unyielding in his dislike for natural materials on folders. And what can I say? You can't say anything to that. All you have to say is you do you. And if ever you come across a knife in your awesome collection that happens to have something natural on it, just send it my way. I will liberate it for you. Razorback, good to have you here. Howdy, he says. from down under, right, Razorback? Good to have you here, man. Michael Morgan, good evening, Bob and Jim. Well, good evening to you, sir. It is a fine evening, and it's a fine thing to have you here with us. Blame Dexter says, somehow, first of all, hello, Blame Dexter. Good to have you here in that evil avatar. Maybe it's not evil. Maybe it's just powerful. Anyway, Blame Dexter says, somehow, after not being sick for like 2 years, I get COVID and then the flu in the same. Oh, dude, that sucks, man. I hope you're feeling better, and I hope your recovery is swift and complete. It sucks being sick, especially the flu. For me, my flu over the past couple of years, flu has been worse than my 2 experiences with COVID. Where Ryan's got stuff. Good to have you here, sir. Hello, dudes. He says with a flexed arm. I like it. Strong in the knives, and in the body, and in the brain. We have to be. Ground Fog. Good to have you here, Ground Fog. Always a pleasure with the clapter. Flip Solo. Good to have you here. What's that? Oi, oi, or I don't know. Is that some sort of? Anyway, good to have you here, Flip Solo. But let me know what that combination of the lowercase o and the slash mean. Is it something the kids are doing? Should I know this? Because I'm trying to keep up, sort of. Ketmuk, good to have you here. Ketmuk Nessart, howdy, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Happy Thursday Night Knives. Well, right back at you, sir. Right back at you. Hero Sticks, good to have you here all the way from the West Coast. Evening and cheers all. Well, cheers to you, my man. Past couple of weeks, I've not had coffee during Thursday Night Knives because a few weeks before that, I had coffee and I could not sleep. And I think that's because it's Lent and the clean living and whatnot. Ryan's Got Stuff says, if it's a fixed blade folder like the Raja 2 and doesn't fold, it is a fixed blade because it's fixed in there. I'm picking up what you're putting down. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite knives tonight is of that ilk. G. Gleck, good to have you here, G. Gleck. Hi, Bob and everyone. Well, hello to you, sir. Rev Artist, I don't recognize your name. It's great to have you here, man. Hi, bro. Love my flint knives with, and oh, wait, what is that? Oh, antler horn handles, naturals. I love naturals too. Oh, I should have pulled out my 50th birthday knife. It's my one knife with stag, believe it or not. I should have more stag. Will B, good to have you here, Will. Hey, Jim, Bob, and fellow junkies. Will B is an early adopter of this here thing we're going to be looking at in a little while. Flip Solo, it's a wave. I gotcha. Harmless. It's sort of like this. It's like, hey, what's up? Well, that's cool. I like that. I'm going to start using that because I'm starting to think, well, I've been saying this for weeks and weeks now. I've sort of turned my back on emojis almost completely, except with my mom and my wife and my daughters. You know, it's like hearts and that kind of thing. I still do that because, yes, we should be able to use words to express ourselves as adults, but sometimes it's just nice to send someone a heart. Hero Stick says, speaking of French makers, Treddy just got some vids on European Custom Knife Show. Dang, some real beauts. Yeah, he was on the show a while ago, and he recently got in touch with me and said we should do another show. He's been, selling some stuff and acquiring some stuff, and yeah, he's got some really great taste. He's over there in Die Schweiz. He's in Switzerland, I believe. Good guy. We had an interesting conversation, though he's one of the very, very few, if not the only guest I've had on the Knife Junkie who wouldn't show his face, just his hands and his knives. And, it worked. I once put out a call, well, several to Nick Shabazz and said, you don't have to show your face. I just want to talk to you. And he was like, eh. So we didn't do that, but I know sometimes he'd put the Batman mask on for people, which is an interesting choice, when you want to remain anonymous, because it shows half your face. And if you might just recognize. Razorback. Indeed, Western Australia. I've tried just about every mechanism, but I reckon liner locks are still my favorite. That Work Tough on your Instagram is wild, by the way. What are you talking about? This Work Tough? Yeah. I put up an embarrassing video of me trying to slice a paper midair and that was it was sort of a debacle, but my second try worked, and this thing is so sharp. But in the confines of this small room, my dad is like, man, on camera, it looks like that wall is like 10 feet behind you. It is not. It is not 10 feet behind me. It's about 3 feet behind me. And so in the confines of this room, swinging the Work Tough gear, it's a little bit risky. But outside, man, I've been vanquishing bottles left and right. And I've taken videos of almost all of them. And I'm like, most of them suck unless I can get my daughter to hold it, because I have to prop it up on a tree or on our little fire pit. And then I'm like, no one wants to see me cut bottles. People want to see Scab cut bottles, because he's got cool technique, and he's always got two bottles, and man, he's awesome. I love that guy. Once Upon a Reset, good to see you here, sir. Thank you for not being like Nick Shabazz. Well, Nick Shabazz is a very smart guy, and if I've kind of figured it out, I think he's a professor of something, and so wants to remain anonymous. Totally get that. He's a smart guy, though. Quack, good to see you, Quack. Hey, he says. Well, hey, right back at you, sir. Oh my God! Wait, Jim, would you be so kind as to put his comment back up? Quack, I always thought your avatar was a guy with blonde hair and his arms crossed across his shoulder, but now I see it's way cooler than that. It's a heart on fire with a sword going through it, and I can't exactly tell what's going around it, but very, very cool logo. I like it. I love circular logos, I guess. Very nice. It is not a blonde guy going like this, which is good to know. Let us see here. I think it might be time for a pocket check. So, inspired today by Shane Gables, the great and powerful, I carried, left hand, I carried my Super CQC 15. And you say, inspired by Shane Gables, how's that? Well, it's because he just asked me the other day, should he get an Emerson? And I said, but of course, sir, of course you should get an Emerson. But I did warn him, like a child or a teenager, it will go through a difficult adolescence. Where you think it's never going to turn out right, and then suddenly it'll blossom into an awesome knife. And he's definitely put these on his list to check out. So I was looking at my Emersons. I need to send him a picture, because I'm gonna send him a couple to check out. And I love this thing. This was sent to me by a listener, Bill S. And Bill, if you're listening, indeed, I've always loved this knife. Not only because I used to have a CQC 15, you got it, Quack. I had a 15 regular size, and it had lock troubles, and I sold it to someone who wanted to fix it. And then this gentleman just sent this to me, and it's a super, which I love. XL. Blame Dexter says, didn't carry anything today, but emotional support knife, winter blade co factor. That sounds, well, that's because you're sick, I presume. So you needed that emotional comfort, but the winter blade co, how cool. That's like a perfect emotional support knife. So this is the supersized CQC 15. This thing is so incredibly sharp. I know a lot of people are not crazy about the chisel edge, and definitely a lot of people aren't into the chisel grind where the one side of the blade is totally flat. I love them both and find them just sickeningly sharp. This knife is that. It is sickeningly sharp. And being larger than the regular 15, it's even sharper because it's got this broader blade, and yet the grind is still about the same height there. So sharp, really sharp, even up here on the yokote. I say that like I'm an American, Native American. I don't know why I say that. But anyway, great knife, great ergonomics, a looker too. And then a blend in that blade, the design inspiration were his first two knives that are, roughly among his first knives. The CQC7, that's where you get the Americanized Tanto tip. and then the Commander. That's where you get the recurve. Just beautiful. Love that thing. Next up in my pocket today, I had the Venom Jack. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Ben Belkin put out a challenge to just carry a slip joint for a month. And the way I'm looking at it is I will continue to carry slip joints every day because I cannot just go out of the house with just one. That's just in my nature. And I have to have a locking folder in my front right pocket. And then I've been carrying the Nova one, but before that, I always have a fixed blade. So in spirit, I'm participating, but in reality, I'm going extra. So this is slip joint only plus carry. And the Venom Jack really fits the bill. You know what I used this for today? No, of course you don't, because you weren't with me. But today I used this to eat cut strawberries and blueberries because I made my daughter's lunch today, but only one of them went to school because the other was sick. And so I brought her lunch with me to work, and I had a container where I cut up strawberries and blueberries. I love that flavor combination. Incidentally, so do my girls. And I used this to pick them out very carefully because this thing is, I was like, I know I'm going to stab my tongue and then it'll be weeks before it heals, because somehow when you cut yourself in your mouth sometimes, and you're like, yes, I have cut myself in my mouth before, and it takes a long time to heal. And I didn't want a puncture wound on my tongue, so I was going about it very carefully. But that's what this was. That's the only thing this did today, was act as a fork. Kind of silly. Beautiful, beautiful carbon fiber handle. This is one of the few carbon fibers I have from the Jack Wolf line. Ben Belkin, who won last week's Vosteed, knows that I love micarta, so he sent me a lot of micarta when sending out these Jack Wolf knives to me, and I appreciate that. But the carbon fiber ones that I do have are beautiful, and I love them for that reason. Carco, good to see you here, sir. Hey, Bob. Liner lock, inset liner lock, bolster locks are favorite. The Heretic Manual Martyr. Oh, for favorite of the inset variety. The Manual Martyr. I know what the Martyr looks like. It's kind of a broad blade, sort of tanto, right? And then the handle, kind of a pistol grip to accommodate the fatness of that blade. That is a beaut. JVF says, I love these classic little slip joints redone with modern materials. I do too. And this is another thing I like about this, JVF. Really, Ben takes it to the limit with the pull and the walk and talk and the fit and finish, because he's already a connoisseur of slip joint knives with a sprawling collection of high-end production and custom slip joints. He knew exactly what he wanted and fought for it with the OEM he works with, and I'm not sure who that is because he's contractually obliged not to divulge. But they do a great job. Whoever it is does a killer job. You know what? I've always thought, like, why would it be in that direction that the company would insist not to be revealed? And then it occurred to me, maybe they just don't want to make slip joints because they know slip joint guys take it to another level. Maybe they just did this for Ben and that's it. And they don't want to be known as the people that you can go to for slip joints, because maybe slip joint guys are more of a pain in the ass. I don't know. But anyway, there you have it. Beautiful, beautiful knife made overseas and designed right here in Arizona. Okay, not here in Arizona, but here in Arizona. All right, next up on me, I had the Nova one. My voice cracked. I had the TheKnifeJunkie and Hogtooth made. This is made by Hogtooth Knives, all by hand up in Massachusetts, except for the blanks, which are water jet cutted out. And I was just talking to Matt this very same day, and he had the first batch. I sent him a check for the first 16. There are a couple more, but I'm going to wait to send that check to him till the 31st when this pre-order is shut. And he had the first batch, the first sheet of steel, 154 water jet. That's the one part that he doesn't do. He just has the blanks water jetted out, which makes sense, especially when you want to have, you know, when you have a lot of knives to make, which he does. Apparently on Fridays, he gets an influx of orders. He was telling me he was just at the Texas Knife Show, and I knew that the Texas Blade Show, his table video was, I mean, I watched his table video like 100 times. It was just like a 10-second clip that he put up on Instagram, but he had a bunch of knives, bunch of the EDC Tantos, a bunch of the Ruffians. That's this knife that I carry all the time, but has been backseated because of the Nova One. But he had all that stuff, all these beautiful forged knives. I think he had one of his journeyman test knives for sale there, and then he had four. Oh my God, the 1918 collaborations. You know, this trench knife here with the knuckle dusters. Hey JN, how's it going, sir? Good to have you here. So he did four of those knives with Les George. Les George cast a whole bunch of knuckle duster handles, and then he sent some to Alan Elishewitz. He sent some to a number of different knife makers. One of them was Matt Chase of Hogtooth Knives, and Matt made these incredible blades, these incredible Damascene blades, and he sold two of them to his friends, and the deal was two of them go to Les George, and two of them, you know, he could sell, and he sold them for relatively inexpensively to two of his close friends. So man, those are gorgeous. Go look up Hogtooth Knives on Instagram and look at his Blade Show Texas table video. It is killer. But before I put this down, yes, the pre-order is open until March 31st. Check out the video I put on Instagram of this today. It's a pretty good video, if I do say so myself, only because it's about 30 seconds long. It's got a cool musical track on it, and it enumerates, that's not the right word. It lists the 4 different changes that will be made to this prototype. Very excited about that. Flip Solo says, I asked to see a Nova One, but he didn't have one to see. Yeah, that's right, because mine is the only one. That's another thing I was going to say. Flip Solo, that's cool, man. Because he told me very excitedly, he's like, people were asking about the Nova One. I was like, that, to me, that felt so cool, because you know how I feel about it, and it just felt great to know that there are people out there in the wider world checking it out, looking for it, like Flip Solo. But yeah, this is the only one currently in existence, and he's going to be, you know, these others will be done. I'm not sure when yet, but way before August for the first 16. And just since we're on the topic, that logo, my logo, will be much smaller and will fit on the flat of the blade right up there. Instead of prototype, it will have a serial number right here. And I have 5 serial numbers already reserved, and those are listed. And the liners will be a cool dark forest green, and that jimping will be moved forward. And then there was one other thing I mentioned, but I can't remember. So you'll have to go check the video. There was one other thing. Oh, no, that's it. Just jimping move forward, logo smaller, serial number, and different colored liners. There you go. Nova One. Lastly on me, of course, as always, I had, I left it on my dresser. I had the Civivi Asticus on me. It's just a funny name. Asticus, ass to kiss. I had the Asticus on me today for emotional support, but I had that tucked in my waistband up front. And then when I got home, I left it on my dresser. Dag nabbit. Well, you know what it looks like. And it's the first one that came out with the black G10. Just picture it. Very thin, hollow grind. Awesome thing. Flip Solo says, very cool guy. He is indeed a very cool guy. And last August, right around my birthday, I met up with my parents in Massachusetts because my sister lives up in Massachusetts. And then we took like a 4-hour drive up into the mountains and found Matt's place and hung out with him for a while because my dad ordered some exquisite kitchen knives from him for my mom for their anniversary. So I have really, really turned my dad into a bit of a knife junkie, and he's always had the propensity for gear, but I've steered it towards knives, and I love that. My work here is done. All right, so on me today, the Nova 1, the Venom Jack, this luscious, listen. Oh, and then, of course, the CQC 15, the Emerson in 154 cm. Wow, two 154 cm knives on me today. A great thing. Blade Ogre says, carrying the Bark River Ultimate Field Knife. That's a cool one. I really like that one. The Giant Mouse Ace Grand, also a nice one. And have you seen the Atelier, the small version? That also looks cool. White River Firecraft, the Tactile Dread Eye. Matthew Christensen, right? Rosecraft LRBS. Not sure which one that is. Michael Williamson Steelworks and the Stellar XL. I'm not sure which model that is, but I have his Merlin. And then the Smith & Sons Mudbug. That's a cool one. Speaking of Mudbug, I have my, for some reason, I felt the need to pull out my big old Sodbuster from GE, Great Eastern Cutlery. The Kershaw Parley and the Finch 1929. I love the 1929. Okay, so we're doing a random giveaway tonight, just random. This is for anyone present. All you got to do is put hashtag knife in the comments. Today, since we're talking about locks and favorite lock types, I'm giving away a knife that that Dave, This Old Sword Blade Reviews, donated to the channel with a very unique lock type. This is the CJRB recoil. I'm sorry, kicker with the recoil lock. Look at that dowel-shaped blade. I was really digging on the blade today. I brought this with me to work, in a sort of parting gesture. Took it to work. It's to take your kicker to work day. So I brought my kicker to work. It's about to become your kicker. All you got to do is put your put hashtag knife in the comments, and then we will get to that. And what say you, Jim? You call the time, Jim. I always let it slip. So whenever Jim says we draw, we draw. But this has a really cool lock on it. This is CJRB's proprietary lock called the recoil lock. And it works much like a bar lock, or I'm going to do this over here so I can use my right hand, like a bar lock or any sort of lock that you pull back, except it's on the top. See that? And it flips really well. I'm not sure how they do that. I mean, I know how they do that, but that it works so well, I don't quite understand. But it's got that beautiful dowel shape. It's got very nice ergonomics. That handle shape, it feels great in hand. And then the lock, as a thumb ramp, you're reinforcing the lock by pushing it forward. So we're gonna do a drawing for this at 11 o'clock. That's about 31 and a half minutes away. 31 and a half minutes, we're going to do the drawing for the recoil. What blade steel you said? I heard you. D2. It is D2 blade steel. And you've got this nice, I'll do this under here. You got this nice olive drab peel ply G10, very nice texturing, deep carry pocket clip. It's got the button screws, but the first world problems, I guess. And it's got a really nice brass pivot collar. I love the way that looks. So very cool knife, and not polarizing, innovative. I don't know why polarizing and innovative. This is not polarizing, though you have not seen much of it. What I do like about CJRB, and I have another one to show you that I like a lot, that they sent me, which is nice because that doesn't happen too often from the big companies. But they sent me a knife to check out, and I really dig it. I like CJRB. I have a number of them. And are sort of because they're but they have their own proprietary steel in AR RPM 9, and they have this lock, the recoil lock, which is something you'll only find on a CJRB. So I dig it. I like anyone who's innovating, and especially when it's a cool innovation. I'm getting a little stutter on my camera here, but that'll go away, I'm sure. Very, very sweet knife. So thank you, Dave, for this donation to the channel. It's greatly appreciated. And I love passing along the wealth to all of you. Let me show you this. I got something, since I'm talking about CJRB. Jeffrey Duncan, good to have you here, Jeffrey. Do you recommend the Cold Steel Marauder fixed blade? I think I'm about to buy one. The Marauder. Okay, so my feelings on the Marauder are as follows. I bought one and I returned it, and I'll tell you why. And this is not this is just a taste thing. I got it thinking that the one I was getting was one of the older hollow ground blades. I first of all, I love that Bowie blade shape, and I love the handle. I have the OSS, which is the long, slender, double-edged clip point, Bob Lovelace style sub-hilt folder. Same, or not folder, sub-hilt fighter. Same exact handle with the sub-hilt, different blade shape. The Marauder with the flat grind was just a different balance than I wanted. I wanted something with the hollow grind like they used to make, which would make the blade lighter and put the balance more towards the guard, making it more, fighter-like, more John Wicky. Not that I need it, not that I'm going out and getting in knife fights. It's just my personal taste. I did notice that the Marauder, now, of course, I regret every knife I get rid of in some way, but I did notice that the Marauder was a little bit blade heavy because the one that I got was one of the newer ones with the flat grind. I did find that on YouTube, or not YouTube, on eBay, you can find them still. You can find hollow ground versions either on the secondary market or in some cases, new old stock on eBay. So I would consider that. Just think, do you want something that, are you going to use it? Basically, are you going to use it for chopping outside? Then yeah, the Marauder, awesome. Are you going to use it or keep it in waiting for that knife fight that never happens? In that case, you might want to go for the hollow grind. So all in all, I'd say yes, go for it, but be aware of the grind you're going to get. Once Upon a Reset says, is the whole slip joint guys are a pain in the ass a prison a prison wallet reference? No, sir. Get your head out of the gutter. No, what I mean is they can be very particular. Prison wallet. Ugh. I'm going to cleanse myself of that thought, though I love that expression. Michael Morgan says, Spyderco Siren LC200N today. Favorite lock is the compression lock. Favorite example being the Shaman. Or is that Shaman? I do have to try a Shaman. There was the question for a long time that I was having, Mannix 2 or Shaman. Well, Shane Gables solved that for me when he sent me this. I absolutely love this thing. This thing is so great. The Shaman would have to be really, really great to make me vote for the Shaman. Though I do like the look of the contoured scales, and I do like the compression lock. I'll show you all of these in a minute. But good answer. Razorback says Lion Steel Gitano. I like that one. Looks like a Navaja, a Spanish Navaja. Kaiser Drop Bear and the Tylite 6. Sorry, Tylite. Okay, this big 6-inch Tylite and the Blade HQ M4 Para 3 today. Nice, man. That's a nice. I'm surprised no fixed blade. I don't know why. I know why, but I shouldn't. I don't know. Is it racist to assume or ethnicist to assume that an Australian person would be walking around with a large fixed blade knife? Probably a little dull of me to say so. Today we're carrying the Off-Grid Knives Viper XL. Very nice. That's the V2 tan micarta and gray wash. Is it micarta? Very nice. And gray wash. I love that combination. 154 cm blade and the new Kubi RDF designed. Oh yeah, by Alessandro DeSantis. That's a nice looking. That's a karambit, right? And the BlackRock Voodoo Fixie. Oh, BlackRock knives. I happen to have my BlackRock knives out tonight. My BlackRock knife. BlackRock knives knife. I only have one. This is my Monkey Thumper double-edged and just such a nice knife. His work is beautiful. I should get another one, shouldn't I? I need someone like Dave to encourage me to get another one. Nice carry there, Dave. Really nice carry. And a little bit of foreshadowing. Kep McNessart says, today I'm carrying the TJ Schwartz Overland fixed blade. Love it. I love his designs, and I love the Overland folder and that fixie that he's been making on his own CNC at his place is beautiful. So nicely done. Is that hollow ground, Ketmuk? Let's see. The LT Wright Knives Great Plainsman. That sounds cool. The Buck Spitfire. Ooh, March 2023 Buck of the Month. And the Ohio River Jack. I keep forgetting to get that. And then the Wingard Wearables Quill. Never far from me either. This, I think, is my favorite grip. Hammer fist. Bang. Razorback says, slip joints and triad locks for the win. For acoustics. Yeah. Triad lock for acoustics. You know what has a good acoustics is this. The Scorpion lock. JVO says, wearing a little Doug Ritter RSK1 at the moment. Very nice. Also on my list for favorite lock types and favorite examples. Will be good to see that he's got the Grimsmo Norseman. Oh yes, the ProTech California Custom Knife Show Mordax, the Spyderco Manix 2XL, awesome knife. Pardon me, the Benchmade Rift, my favorite of the three Rift-like 940-like style knives by what's his name? Don't say what's his name. By, you'll let me know. Civivi Chevalier, Spyderco Ronin 2 with that custom-made sheath, the Riot Exo, the Olight Baton 3, Arkfeld, and O-Pen Pro with a PMP Warthog in my bag. Ooh, I'm not sure which one the Warthog is, but I do know PMP makes some impressive stuff. Who's the designer? Who am I forgetting? The guy who did the 940. Why am I not remembering his name? Have a Knife Day says, I just picked up the Off-Grid Knives Viper V2 Blackout today. Man, okay. That's awesome. I really like it. I really like that knife. Blade Ogre says, and I like to see Off-Grid doing a Tanto. Blade Ogre says, nice. Really liking White River knives. That Firecraft even has scales you can buy for it. Oh, nice. I like that when companies do that. Like these guys. You know, when they like Three Rivers Manufacturing and NAFs, they're doing that now too, where you can buy scales and swap them out really easily. You don't have to take the pivot off or anything, or pivot out or anything like that. It's just these two screws, and on this side that screw and the pocket clip screws, and you can swap your new scales in lickety split. I love that feature. Drive Strength says, evening, Bob. Well, good to see you, Drive Strength. Evening, Bob and Jim, and the Thursday Night Knives crew. Been on a knife buying binge lately. Oh, yeah. See, when people like you come and reveal their truth to us, it justifies our truth when we've been on binges here. Vosteed Grind, the Buck Sprint Ops Drop Point. Wait, okay. Hang on, let me reread this. Been on a knife buying binge. Vosteed Grind. I'm not sure which one that is. The Buck Sprint Ops Drop Point in S45 and the Boker Hell Karambit. Hell, like as in O-Stop Hell with one L. O-Stop Hell. Designer of this sweet little nugget I've been carrying around ever since they sent that. Drive Strength, nice carry as usual. Nicely done. 5-Door, good to see you here, 5-Door. Finally in alive before it's almost over. That I appreciate. That's awesome. Thanks for coming a little bit early. It's always bittersweet when it's like 5 minutes before midnight. And I'm like, looking at the clock, 5 hours before I have to get up. And then a whole bunch of people join. I'm always like, So I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're here now. And if you missed it, we are giving away, all you got to do is put #knife in the comments. We're giving away this CJRB kicker with the recoil lock. Definitely a fidgety knife and an innovative knife from CJRB. an innovative company. You know, they have their own steel and their own lock here. So very nice. This steel is D2, but they have AR RPM 9 on a lot of their knives. So Blade Ogre, Rosecraft LBRS Little River Bend Skinner. Okay. Oh, okay. I know which one that is. That's the curved handle one that looks kind of like the well, yeah, I know which one that is. Like the Rosecraft traditionals, but they have long names, and chat has has a 200 character limit. That's funny. I like the new one that they have. That's the flipper button lock. It really looks like an old school Barlow, except the fact that it's big and it's a flipper with a button lock. Love that. Ooh, JN carried the S90V Native Chief today. A chorus of yawns ensues. No, sir. I like your loyalty to that knife. You've been carrying that knife for seems like a couple of years now and really, really loving it. But on my lap is the Work Tough Gear JX5. That is a cool one. Examining the edge because I beat the shiznit out of it for 2 days. Some rolls, but still sharp. Beast. Yeah, it's a clip point, right? With the kind of clip point that swells out towards the front, has a relatively short clip and a relatively long handle. Designed by Tactical Mind 101. Prepared Mind 101. He's out of Ohio. Five Door says today's carry, Praetorian Slim Tonto, sweet, and the Finch Hatfield. 2 sweet knives. I like the look of that Hatfield. Like the Hatfields and the McCoys. Is there one called the McCoy by them? I've lost track of Finch. They've got so many knives. Razorback. Haha. I wing it every now and again with a fixed blade on the belt, but knife laws here are a little bit sketchy. Sounds like you're going through a sketchy period down there in Australia, like they are in Canada, and like, well, we are here. But luckily, we have knife rights, the kniferights.org, and they have really been saving our butts. And then we have the Second Amendment, which, you know, they're not that pretty much is it's a great safeguard. But things will right size themselves in Canada and Australia and New Zealand, these great independent places that have recently fallen prey to some sort of wackadoos. Dion Page says, hello, Knife Junkie Supreme. Well, hello, Dion Page. What a pleasure to have you here. And to be called Knife Junkie Supreme, I gotta say, I do like to hear that. Jim and Junkies, I'm sorry. I'm going to start this from the top. And scene. Dion Page says, hello, Knife Junkie Supreme. Jim and Junkies congregated for top-notch knife conversations. I can't stay tonight, but wanted to say hi and stab, slash, or chop that button. Have a great night, all. Thank you, Dion. I appreciate that. You just sort of lent yourself to the show as a hype man tonight, and I really appreciate it. It's good to have you here. Make sure you come back next week and chat with us. Jeffrey Duncan, good to see you here, Jeffrey. Thanks for the info. So you could oh yeah, we've already spoken, Jeffrey. Thanks for the info. So you could still defend with the stonewash blade. Yes, you could indeed still defend with the stonewash blade. You could chop some serious whatnot with that flat ground. Beautiful. What is it? About a 8.5, 9-inch Bowie blade on that. Love that. Luck Knives, good to see you here. I look forward to talking with you real soon. What up, man? So you got to look up Luck Knives if you don't know. He's NAF Sergeant, but Luck Knives is his brand of knives, and just kind of out of nowhere, at least that's how it seems. I know you took a long time to make your first couple of knives, and you sort of detailed it on your channel, and you went about it in a very controlled way, and now you're just making I see a lot of knives relative speaking to someone who just started, and they look beautiful. They look so nicely done. So go check out Luck Knives. You put up some sort of a Warncliffe the other day. You were showing off the handle scales, but the blade grind, it had a swedge and sort of a Warncliffe, sort of a sheep's foot. It was beautiful. So anyway, nicely done. I'm very, very excited for you. Byron Kennedy says, my carry was the the Rosecraft Applejack, the off-grid Necker, the Petrified Fish 818. So this is what you carried last week, I think. Got to go with Cold Steel Demco Triad Lock for strength. I am with you, sir. I am with you. That's why I have this out tonight. Man, I love this thing. Probably my favorite of all the triads, and I have a bunch of them. Luck Knives carrying the U.S.-made Chavez 228. Ooh, very nice. I love those knives. I love all the Chavez knives. That guy's got an eye, a serious eye. Have a Knife Day says, sadly, I also picked up the flu. Jeez, with a cough lock with alternate high temperature discomfort option. Oh, dude. Well, at least you're looking at it like a feature and not a bug, but we know it's a bug. That sucks, dude. My older daughter's got something, and she and I have a special event to go to tomorrow night, sort of like a daddy-daughter dance, and I'm just hoping she's not, down for the count. G-Man W, good to see you here, G-Man. He had his Hinderer XM18 3.5 inch. All right, but G-Man, you left out which blade. You got to let us know which blade. Ever since Shane put up his new Hinderer with the slicer grind, I've been coveting it a little bit. I do like that slicer grind. If you haven't watched his latest video about Rick Hinderer, you should. It's very passionate and very good. It's one of the few times I've actually just listened to a video because I started it early morning, and then I wanted to continue it on my commute, and I was solo that morning, so I just listened to it, and it's really interesting, really good. So check that out. Agent Orange Peel, good to see you here, Agent Orange Peel. Carried the XM18 Sponto. See, that's how you do it. Just kidding. In 3V. Interesting. I didn't know that they did that in 3V. Very nice. The Chris Reeve knives, Umnumzan, Tanto, the GEC Sodbuster. Man, what is it? We're all on the same wavelength tonight. Which one is this? This is the 21. Man, I love this thing. I like Sodbusters in general, but this one, I got to say, it takes the cake. And I love when a Sodbuster or a larger fixed blade like this has a lanyard hole, because I like little leather fobs on my slip joints like this. Think of the Back Pocket by Case. They sometimes have them. I like that. So very nice. Acoustics definitely add to the knife, though. Yes, agreed. As for Loctite, as long as it works, it's good with me. Acoustics definitely add to the lock, though. Well, here you go. I always thought the shark lock. Oh, now I can't do it. It's like stage fright in front of the mic. I always thought it had a sort of a shotgun sound, you know. Jay McConnell, good to see you here, Jay. Jay's an early adopter, and he's number 17. Evening Junkies carried the S110V custom knife factory. Oh, Eagle Rock. So that's the Terzuola. God, that's beautiful. Today, along with the GEC 68 in Cocobolo. Very nice. Jay, I need you to tell me that Eagle Rock is a terrible knife or just really small. So tell me one of those two things, please. James Moore says, to commemorate today's release of the Sharp by Design Mini Evo, I'm carrying my custom Sharp by Design Void XL. Very nice. That Void, I kind of was on the fence until the XL came out, and like some knives, like the XM24 and some other knives and plenty of cars, the longer version allows the true lines to express themselves. Think of a Jaguar XKE with the 12-cylinder engine. It's got a real long front, or the Ferrari Daytona, like in Miami Vice with the 12 cylinders, really long up front. It just kind of lets the lines. And then think of that Z1 BMW that looks like it needs to be like a couple feet longer. You know, it's a beautiful car with beautiful lines, but they're all truncated and stubby. So anyway, that Void XL is one of those knives where when that one came out, I was like, yeah, that's the version of that knife that really resonates. Big Staff, August 19th. Is that your birthday? August 19th? Big Staff 0819. I would be 0817. That's the only reason why I saw that and thought that, unless it's August of 2019. Anyway, Big Staff, good to have you here. What is up? Love to the junkies. Well, love right back to you, sir, especially if you're a Leo. Just kidding. Motoman, good to see you, Motoman, and that adorable I was going to say pit bull. Bulldog, right? That's a bulldog. So cool. I like bulldogs. Carried the Bastinelli Anomaly. Oh, very nice. That's the Pical. And the Boker Pocket Smatch It today. Very nice. Very nice. I have a Pocket Smatch It that Dave very generously gifted to me. I love that thing. Mine has the Cocobolo wood. What kind of Smatch It do you have? What's your handle material? James Moore, as one of the lucky few owners of the Vision R, I'm going to be self-serving. Oh, yeah. I'll say I love the Snex Super Lock. Wow, I forgot you have he only made like 20 of those or 17 of those or something, some very small number. I remember when he was making that a number of years ago now, detailing kind of every detail with these great videos on Instagram. That was really cool to see. That's the one without hardware, right? It all kind of just fits together. That dude's brilliant. He is really, really innovative. It's a Gungan. Good to have you here. It's a Gungan. Carried a Bastinelli Chopper and the Microtech Ultratech Double Edge. Very nice. Watch worn Seiko SPB 143. Now, I'm not sure which Seiko that is, but Instagram has been sticking the Arnie in my face like day after day. I got it. And that was one of my favorite parts about Commando. Even though in Commando they changed up the watch a little bit to make it a little more cinematic, I loved that watch, like, and the countdown, and he the whole time he's like, checking his watch. Love that, and also the chopper. What a cool knife that is. I was looking at Tomas Alas's video today. He's Tactical Tavern. Just did an interview with him 2 weeks ago. Great guy. He put up a video of his 5 favorite automatic knives, and one of them was is it the brachial? It's the one that is basically the automatic chopper made with Microtech. So beautiful. Another gentleman I just spoke with. Hey, how's it going? We got Patty's Potato Peelers. Hello, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Carried the Tactile Turn Bear in Magna Cut. 15 degrees per side. Very slicey. Very nice. And you go back 3 weeks and you can catch my interview with Patty. What a great time. That was another interview that just flew by. And I looked at the clock and I'm like, oh, we gotta wrap this. And then we go and we did the extras for Patreon and the same thing. I could just talk to him all day. Great to have you here, Patty. Jay McConnell says, Bob, Eagle Rock? More like Pigeon Pebble. Thank you. Terrible. Tiny knife. Absolutely not the closest thing to a Terzwola custom that I'll ever own. Whew, I feel so much better. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay. Somehow I feel like you're being facetious, but I'm just going to take it at face value. Definitely not the closest you'll get to a custom Terzwola. Okay. So it's tiny too, which means it's big. Oh God, I'm in trouble. I don't have any custom knife factory knives, and that is definitely one I would like to have. There have been a few over the years, but that is probably chief among them. The other one that always comes to mind is the one that had a nail neck in it. It had a beautiful handle and a very nice clip point blade, and I don't know what kind of lock it was, maybe a liner lock, but it had a nail neck, and I can never remember what it's called. Beautiful. Pigeon Pebble. As opposed to Eagle Rock. Good one. Love that. Love it. Not bitter at all. Just the coffee. Yep, we're doing a random knife giveaway. As you know, monthly we do a Gentleman Junkie knife giveaway for patrons, but I also like to do just random knife giveaways on random Thursday Night Knives. And many of those knives are courtesy of Dave, This Old Sword Blade Reviews. And by the way, if you haven't been to his channel, what rock are you sleeping under? His stuff is so awesome. Not only is he a wealth of knowledge, he's got a killer collection and great taste. Plus, if you look at his channel and you go way back, like in his time, not in his timeline, but you can still see these videos on his channel. They're like 12 or 13 years old. It's him doing cut tests with some of the Filipino swords you see behind, made by traditional Filipino weapons. And this man, Dave, is an adept, if you will, a Kali dude through and through. He trained for years and years and years, and I don't know if he still does, probably on and off. I think it's like, once a Kali guy, always a Kali guy, but it's just cool to watch him cut stuff with those swords. Definitely check that out. But also check out this CJRB kicker with the proprietary recoil lock, fidgety as all get out, and then it has the flipper there, so fidgety on 2 dimensions. And yep, we're gonna give this one away to one lucky random winner in 4 minutes and 15 seconds, whose name is chosen from the random generator. I just want to show you this blade up close. That's a D2 blade. It is very, very sharp, very nicely nice. That edge is very nicely done and very even. But look at the profile of that blade. It is really nice. It looks like a Dao, that Chinese sword. Or you could call it a bellied Warncliffe if you were a nerd. And I've called it that, so I'm not casting aspersions on anyone but myself. I do love the shape of that blade. This handle is extremely ergonomic. The recoil lock acts as a thumb ramp, which also reinforces the strength of that blade. So really cool. You can pull it back just using one finger, or you can grab it on both sides and whip it in. Hollywood Tactical says recoil lock is one of my favorite lock types. That's awesome, man. Hollywood Tactical is the man, and he knows his stuff. And just watch him in a knife fight, verbal knife fight on the channel here. James Moore says one of the unsung great locks is the Deshorn ball release lock mechanism. I think that's in my wild card category. Is this the ball lock? I know they call this a ball lock, or am I thinking of the one that we might see in a more pedestrian manner in the Dodo, where you actually see it? But anyway, like my great large ball release model with Damasteel blade, textured zirconium bolsters, Cocobolo wood, and marbled carbon fiber scales. Oh, just kidding. Marbled carbon fiber. Oh, I love that. Textured zirconium bolsters. You know what, James, you should check out. I spoke with Brian Montalvo of Keennison, and that'll be going up. Keennison Knives, that'll be going up. I think April 2nd, and he talks about choosing materials, and his materials, they're beautiful. His knives, I'm sure you're familiar with them, but he's got a real knack for matching materials without going too overboard, but everything is really beautiful. And actually that's a subjective judgment, but to me, no Mr. Furley issues with his choice of exotic materials. Sometimes too many patterns right next to each other is too much, takes away from the beauty of any one of those given patterns. But I think there's a Keennison Knives knife in your future, James. And then I will continue to live vicariously through you. Carco says #knife and a wild hair, and carried the 20 CV Mordax from Drop. Had a wild hair. That's awesome. What wild hair about that? I mean, that's a great knife to carry, man. I'd proudly carry that if I had it. This chair, man, I suddenly feel like it's destroying my back, so I'm gonna have to do something about that. Oh, we're closing in. All right, 45 seconds, and then it's all done. So it does not take 45 seconds to type in #knife. Say this knife isn't even your bag. Well, you could always, sell it or give it to someone. But #knife in the comments, and this could be yours. I will get it in the mail by July 1st. No, I'm just kidding. Things are nuts, and July 1st is my carrot in the future when things will calm back down. But no, I will have this in the mail to whomever wins it tomorrow or this weekend. And Monday at the latest. So CJRB kicker with recoil lock is now officially going up. Let's do this, Jim. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. G-Man. Oh, wait. Okay. What is it doing? Winner, 5-door. Okay, it was stuttering a little bit. Sorry, G-Man. I was like ready to call you the winner, but it was stuttering a little bit. The StreamYard random number generator picked 5-door. 5-door. Congratulations. This knife is now yours. I will cease pawing it. I will wipe it down with isopropyl rubbing alcohol. I will pack it and I will send it. Just please, I'm not going to touch it with this hand that I just touched my nose with. Let me just. So please be sure to send me your address, and I will get that out to you post haste. I hate that alcohol crap. I got to let it dry. Costa Carvunis, retired USMC. Costa, good to see you, and thank you for your service. Got a number of friends who are and relatives who are former Marine Corps. So here's to you, sir. Appreciate it. Hey, room, what's up? Hope all is good, people. Hey, I think we all is good people, but we are all good too, and it's great to have you here. Kevin Moore, what is up, knife folks? Well, hello, Kevin. Almost Hawaiian Shirt Friday. James Jones, good to see you here, James Jones. I want to see a Strider collab with DeMarco Sharklock. Wow, that sounds cool. That would be a good one. That shape. My first win. Thank you. You're very welcome, 5-door. I'm glad you're psyched. You know what? I'm going to write your name down just so tomorrow morning I'm not like, wait, who won that again? 5-door winner. I'm not going to say it. That winner thing. I can't stand it when people say that. You know how it ends. Costa says, thank you. Oh, thank you, sir. And it's a pleasure. I have a, speaking of the Marine Corps, I have a circa World War II K-bar right there that my brother got me for, what was it? My 51st birthday, I think. I love the K-bar, and that one looks like it saw many years of action, probably during and definitely after the war. James Moore says, chair recommendation if your back is an issue, the Swapper Active Stool. Oh, that sounds nice. I'm going to write that down because I'm sitting up high. My desk is quite high, and I didn't have too many chairs to choose from. And my back is pretty healthy, but something about this chair isn't. And my lower back, I noticed it last week too, being like, because I don't sit in this chair too much unless I'm doing a show. So I'm going to write this down also. I know. I could just check the comments later, but that's not how we roll when we're born in 71. We write stuff down, sometimes on the hand. Motoman says, 5-door is my middle name. Congrats, 5-door. Right on. Yeah, that's nice, man. So let me show you something else I got. JN, X-Lax for active stool. Oh, smooth move, X-Lax. That's something we used to say when someone fumbled or did something stupid. Smooth move, X-Lax. All right, let me show you this. I just got these today, and this one I am going to keep, and the other two I'm going to give away. But just like everyone else was talking about, I'm one of the cool kids too. I got a Viper version 2 from Off Grid Knives. So beautiful. Thank you, Carrie, for sending this along. I love it. I'm a big Tonto fan. I love Americanized Tontos. And this drop point Tonto, or clip point Tonto, you might say, is, man, it's wicked. It puts that point right down center line. And I just love the feel of it. And as Dave said before that it's micarta, I thought it was G10. I'm gonna have to examine it and check out its micarta-ness later. But this has a lot of great qualities to it. First of all, just awesome action, as can be expected from Off-Grid Knives. Another thing you can expect from Off-Grid Knives, even their most obtuse grinds are slicey as hell. These are the best, my favorite cardboard knives for going through even like thick double-walled cardboard against the grain. Off-grid knives in their many different models, they just all rock. Even the Stinger XL, which is their kind of their shortest saber grind, man, it just glides through. So I love the coloration. This is part of the Coyote line. Carrie also sent me a blacked out version and then a black handle with stonewash. I'll be giving both of those away at some point. But they have changed. They, meaning Carrie, is always updating the designs and making them more and more awesome. Now, I didn't have the first Viper, but this one I can tell has been, the handle is just so comfortable. He's been doing a lot of broad chamfering that almost makes the whole thing seem contoured on a number of knives, and on the like on the Stinger that is contoured and it has a real broad chamfer. That was me stopping it by accident right here with my thumb on the flipper because of my left hand. But I love this Coyote tan with gray wash. It just is beautiful. And look at this. I'm seeing this because I always look for how it feels in reverse grip. And this is ideal for me. I love to, if I have to use it in this grip, you know, if I'm inspecting that 55-gallon drum full of Uzis and I gotta puncture the top like this, of course I'm gonna want to cap the pommel with my thumb, because even with that flipper tab, if I hit it hard enough and receive enough resistance, my hand could slip over onto that blade. So that is the perfect shape. You see that angle, and then that secondary angle, and then that third angle, and the fourth angle. It's perfect for thumb capping, if you will. Very comfortable knurling in that milled into that handle. And then much like the Stinger XL, you've got the three screw inset into the handle, and he's got a filler tab on this side. I mean, going all out. You know, he listened when people started complaining about button screws everywhere. He was picking up what people were putting down, and his next versions, in this case the V2, most of them the V2, he inset the clip into the handle and put the flat screws in there. So, and then filler tab on the other side, because you know it is a buzzkill when you see the when you have just like a big milled out pocket with nothing to fill it. So I'm really psyched. This is 154 cm Crucible. So I'm looking forward to carrying this. I'm going to carry this tomorrow and pull it out and use it whenever I have the opportunity. Say to cut my ham sandwich or to vanquish. Oh, tomorrow's Friday. Can't do that. See, I do this all the time. And I have people around me telling me not to eat. It's Friday. What are you doing? I'm just eating my pepperoni pizza. Oh, damn. You know, so tomorrow I will not be cutting a ham sandwich, perhaps a PB&J. Carco with a 7-Eleven for shipping. That's awesome, man. Thank you. That is greatly appreciated, that super chat. And so that super chat gets a salute. First of all, I'm just going to put this away. I love this thing. I've only had it 2 hours. Oh, wait, one more thing, Carco, before I salute you. So let's leave that up on screen. But here is a really cool detail. Look at the jimping on the spine of this sucker. So he's got the big sort of traditional style file work jimping there, but then it's all jimped across the top. Isn't that cool? I absolutely love that. So you can reach all the way up like this and bury your thumb in there and get like supreme traction without it being too sharp. But you got 2 jimps per scoop, and 2 jimps per scoop. Shake it up, put a straw in it, and you're good to go. I love this thing. Yes, thank you, Jim. We do have an off-grid affiliate link. So if you like the off-grid knives I'm always talking about and showing off, you can do it. You can buy one however you like. But if you want to help the channel, you can go to TheKnifeJunkie.com/off-grid. Doesn't cost you anymore, but I get a little bit back, a small percentage back from off-grid knives every couple of months. So, well, I urge you to do that if you like off-grid knives. And and do that. But I have a salute to get to. And since Carco, since I have this, I'm going to salute you with this Mac Daddy. Yeah, as if it's the 90s. It is a Mac Daddy. Look at this thing. It is redonkulous. This is the Work Tough gear, my one Work Tough gear, though I'm going to have to change that, but I'm going to have to sell some knives first. I'm right now, that's where I am. I'm like not acquiring too many things without selling a couple because there's just too many now. I know that's not really a thing, but this is the Work Tough gear Puzon Predator Hunter Bowie. Predator reference is the basic shape of that clip. Right up here, it's evocative of the giant knife that the whole team had in Predator. It took me a couple of viewings way back when, I saw it in the theater. My mom actually took me to see it. It was an afternoon. It was like the last day of summer, I think. And she took me to see Predator. I was like, class move. Because my mom didn't want to see Predator, but she still took me to see it. Anyway, so, it's the knife that Billy goes and carves his chest. And when he takes his stand on the big tree that's spanning that ravine. And then, later we hear him dying a painful death. But they all had this knife on them. And only a couple of times do you see it in use. The most famous is when Billy does the thing. But even Schwarzenegger had this on him, and I'm surprised he let it go so early in the movie. He had it strapped to his leg, which would be inconvenient for a giant knife, but he's a giant dude, right? So he had it strapped to his leg, and he pulls it out and uses it to cut the drive. What is that? That drive belt that's powering the generator by that unused truck. In the base in the beginning, you know what I'm talking about. So they all have this, even Schwarzenegger, even though he lets it go early on, like he swipes it and then leaves it. I don't know why people leave their knives in movies. Like, I'm going to throw this knife at that guy. I'm going to go retrieve it. I'm going to go pull it out of his body and then make sure he's dead too, because, it's like, why not pick up the gun too? That's another thing I never got when I was a kid, especially. I was like, he just left, he just ran by a gun that's like probably fully loaded. Now I realize you might not want to run around with all that stuff, but you're definitely going to want to retrieve your cool knife. All of that is long for saying, Carco, thank you so much for the shipping. I really appreciate your super chat. And this one's to you, sir. Oh, yeah. Billy style. Yep, there we go. Thank you very much. He's just got that nose. Love Predator. All right, have a nice day. Remember the Deadliest Warrior SEAL episode with the old school Cold Steel Recon 1? It's kind of the same steel geometry. He decapitated the ballistics dummy. Deadliest Warrior. What a great show. Yes, I do. And he said, I remember him. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about, because I remember whoever he was going up against, was it Spetsnaz or something? They had a much bigger knife. And I remember the Navy SEAL saying, this is all I need. And yes, I do remember that. Wow. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about, sir. And also I remember thinking, of all the cold steels, he chose that. Because, James Moore says the lock on the Sharp by Design Evo line, like today's release, the Mini Evo, the lock bar has a cutout where the show side inlay fits. Oh, God, that's nice. It keeps the lock bar from being pressed. Oh, I got your frame lock, bolster lock. Interesting. It's sort of a hybrid. I like that. You'll see that occasionally, but so the inlay material is acting as the over travel. That's pretty cool. And not only the over travel, but more to your point, you're not exerting force on the lock as you're flipping it open. JVF says, speaking about being bitten by our so beloved knives, the best lock mechanism is the one that prevents injuries while using and closing. Well, I agree with while closing, it's your fault. And believe me, if these hands could tell stories, yeah, I've cut myself lots. Bella Bear says, well, first of all, good to have you here, Bella Bear 88. Hello, all. Thanks for all the videos, Bob. It's my pleasure. Thanks for watching them. That's what makes it worthwhile. My family, has gotten into knives, but they certainly don't want to hear me talk for 2 hours without stop about them. Carco, that's awesome. Agreed. Well, thank you, Bella Bear 88. That is stunning. I'm pretty sure you're talking about the Puzon Predator Hunter, and I would agree with you. And all Work Tough gears are awesome. Got to get that. But Five Door, what are you doing? You don't win something and then pay for it. But what am I going to say? No, that would be rude. Five Door at $9.99 super chat. I greatly appreciate it. Thanks, Bob. And this old sword, not sure why it shaves a penny off. I am. They got to get their nut. They got to make their daily nut, as they say in the mob. All right, let's see. Yes, what should it be? Hang on one sec. I might do something different for you, Five Door. Maybe instead of a... No, I'm not going to do that. All right, let's see. Yes, I'm going to do that. I'm going to salute you with a tomahawk. I'm going to salute you with this back ripper. This is such a cool tomahawk, and it sits here on my desk right over here all the time. And I have a number of weapons around me at all times, especially when I have the headphones. I have some special weapons around me just in case. I don't know. You never know, but I don't like not having my senses in my surroundings. So who knows who could be. So I have some other stuff around me, but this one is always here, and this is wicked. I love this thing. The Back Ripper by Wingard Wearables out of Pennsylvania. Zach Wingard makes the hafts, and this is out of Hickory. Hickory. And then he takes a file, gets it red hot, and burns in these marks that not only make it look cool, but also give it some gription. This is turns out to be like knurling. And then he has these forged. The tomahawk heads are forged by a couple of different people. And some of his tomahawks, he's got one that's a silicone bronze, and it's not for chopping. It is strictly for stabbing. That's the Empress. It's like a spontoon hawk. And that one is made out of bronze, but this one you can, chop wood with if you wished. And actually some people use this as a pruning tool because that hook is very sharp and very wicked right here, which gives it the Back Ripper name. If you're new to Wingard Wearables refers to the fact that this curve, it's meant to go in your waistband, and it's got a really cool carry setup that clips to your belt, and you can just wear this thing in your pants. Basically, it goes down your leg. Now, I'm not a skinny jean wearer, but I don't find this comfortable in the waistband, so I don't carry it that way. However, they do make a smaller version of this that's MOLLE compatible. It slips through the loops of a MOLLE set up like on your bag or load bearing equipment. And in doing so, they cut down the length of it to 13 inches. This is 16. So they take about 3 inches off of it. That one, I dare say I could easily, comfortably carry in the waistband with the right pants, but just a weapon through and through, a weapon that could have other applications. But I want to salute you with this, Five Door. Thank you so much. It's greatly appreciated. And be sure to send me your address so that so that I have the option, if possible, to send it to you tomorrow. Though things have been insane lately. James Jones, have you ever heard of Miller? Oh, yes, Miller Brothers Blade Works. I talked to them. They're like there's 3 of them, and they're all giant, and that's why their knives are giant. It's funny. They have really, really cool stuff. I talked to them at Blade Show last year. They actually had some folders that were like, but mostly they do swords and big blades, and their aesthetic is really cool. It's very, I don't know. I mean, you could see it on a modern day Conan the Barbarian, but I mean, it's funny because just picking up their knives, I'm 6 foot 1/2 inch. I'm not especially large. I'm not especially small. But you see me. I'm not a big hulking guy. Uh, and I walked up to their table, and as I expected, their knives are big and hulking. And then I shook their hand and spoke with them, and I was like, "Oh, I see. It's all a matter of perspective. They're coming at it from just a bigger perspective, so all their stuff is huge, beautifully made. I mean, that's like you hand that down for many, many generations. 1 minute knife review. How you doing, sir? Hello, everybody. Hello, right back. Some cool videos there. I cannot afford to lose 3 inches, especially not in the pants. Hey, Shane, good to have you here with us, man. Five Door, didn't you do a watermelon video with the back ripper? Awesome tomahawk. Yes, I did, and I let one of my girls take a swipe at it too. And they were just like a little bit too interested, and so I put a stop to that. We'll get back to the tomahawks for you girls later at a later date. Shane, great to have you here. We're going to get to that in a second. Let me show you this. This is something that was sent to me by CJRB. They got in touch with me. This is something that I guess maybe is happening more and more now that I have some more subscribers. But this company reached out to me, as did Best Tech recently, and they sent me this cool little beehive, which I have talked about the last few weeks. And I'm putting a video up of this on tomorrow, on Friday. But this CJRB said, "Can we send you our pyrite?" And I really like Artisan and CJRB, so I said, "Please do." And this is the pyrite, and this is my favorite button lock so far. Not necessarily my favorite in terms of, like, I have the Mad Tonto here by Kaiser, designed by Adrian D'Souza of Damn Designs. I mean, I love this. Micarta, that beautiful compound ground, hollow ground, Tonto. This is really great. But in terms of a button lock, this is awesome. I've had a couple of days with it, and I've just been at work flipping it a lot today and yesterday, especially when I'm alone. It's 3¼ inches. It's full flat ground. It when I first got it, I was like, "Oh, it's nice. It's a nice knife. It's great. It's going to be a good performer. This is their AR RPM 9 blade steel and a really excellent button lock. I spine whacked the hell out of it. It's still smooth as can be. Never succumbed to the spine whack. It's Todd Carr. Good to have you here, man. Evening, everyone. He says, I don't. This could be your one knife, and it would do great. It slightly lacks, it lacks a little bit of oomph, but it makes up for that lack of oomph with. I mean, this is just a great EDC knife. Pretty Fly for a knife guy. Good to see you. I like the name. Pretty Fly. That's right. All knife guys are pretty fly, but you're maybe a little extra. But yeah, I've just been digging this knife. As a matter of fact, of the button locks I have, and I don't have many, this one takes the prize so far for smoothness, for strength, and for very nice setup of the button lock. Sits at the perfect height. Hey, Stasa, good to have you here, man. I didn't have the best luck with the 3 I bought. Really? You bought 3 of these and you didn't have the best of luck? This to me has been reliable. Okay, I've used it for nothing. Let's be clear about that. But reliably has not as I said, succumbed to the spine whack. Now, that should not be a selling point. That should be a starting point. That should be a given. I understand that. But what did I have recently? Not my Vosteed. I had something with the button lock that just gave up after like 1 or 2 spine whacks. Autumn Wind, good to have you here. Good name, Autumn Wind. But Oh man, I look forward to seeing you at Blade Show in a couple months. We had a good time chatting last time. He's awesome. You guys don't need me to tell you that. You all know and follow Stasa, no doubt. But the one blade fell out with minimal force. The other two were impossible to open. Interesting. Well, this one, was sent to me by CJRB, and like Nick Shabazz always said or says at the beginning of his, they probably you have to assume they sent the very best one ever made if they're giving it away for free and they're expecting a review of it. They're not going to send a dog. But it's interesting to hear that Stasa bought 3 of them, and I assume you got this one, the black one, and the stainless handle one, and you had problems with all of them. That's disappointing to hear for sure, because I was about to give this. Well, I am going to give this particular example a ringing endorsement, but that's troublesome to hear. I do like how the liners stand a little bit proud of the Thunderhead Blue G10 scales. I do like the shape of the blade, even though I'm generally not much of a drop point guy, only because I seek visual drama, But it reminds me a little bit of the Feldspar in its Feldspar in its just sort of utilitarian, simple but elegantly designed, blade. Razorback says, I've seen the raccoon and the mad Tontos failing. Civivi Cogent is bad too if it gets even a scrap of lint in it. So how do you all feel? Like, what's the deal now? Like, is it the same with the Mordax and the Protex? Are they having issues at all, or is it just these super mass produced ones that I don't want to say they're rushed to market, but they do seem to be. Has this one has not failed me. This Mad has not, and then I have one that I've. This one I like a lot too. The Sencut. This one hasn't failed either. Ever since who was it? Maybe it was Stasa who came out with the sort of revealing that there are issues with many button locks. I've been spine whacking them all. And even my raccoon was fine. And Vosteed went up and just changed it to a bar lock. They were having so many problems with it. Mine was fine. But it's a big enough problem that a non-knife guy that I sold it to saw from the first, 2 minutes of research that it's been an issue. JVF says the CJRB seems to be a good knife, but maybe it lacks some soul. Yes, that's exactly it. Or a little fantasy to stay in my pocket. Mine is totally smooth, by the way. Yeah, it is really smooth. But that is it. It lacks soul. And a lot of production knives do, but they make up for it in interesting design. Like, this lacks soul because it's a super mass produced Sencut, but it's made really beautifully and it has some drama to it. You look at it, there's some drama, and maybe that gives it the soul. Stasa says, I got the Knife Center tie bolster and black micarta and blue Damascus G10 and the one you have. I didn't know they had those 2 fancy options out there. I thought it was just 2 G10s and a stainless. That whole thing about putting out an exclusive like Knife Center and like all of them do, and then having that one be an issue, that sucks. That would suck to be Knife Center and order a bunch of these things special and then have problems with them. Todd Carr reminds me of a Civivi design. Yeah. Hence the lack of soul comment. And I'm not saying Civivis lack soul. I just mean, like, there are a lot of Civivis that look kind of a lot the same, but they are very good. I mean, in my experience, and I don't have too many Civivis, but I have like 3 or 4, and they've all been awesome. 1 Minute Knife Review says, haven't had any problems with the Mordax or Malibu. Thanks for the Malibu. That's what I was looking for. My Mordax is as solid as a bank vault. I want your Mordax, but you have been showing it off recently, and I've wanted one since the drop days, and for a while. I couldn't get one, then I could, and I didn't have the money because I was looking at other stuff. And the Mordax and I have a speckled past. I need to get one in my life. That's one that I would consider getting hollow ground. Why, Bob? You barely use your knives. I know, but just for, I don't know, just in case I start using them. 1 Minute Knife Review says, or the Kaiser button locks of mine. Yeah. Well, I haven't had any trouble with this one in particular, but yeah, we've heard people having problems with it. So is the button lock thing just best left to automatics? It seems to be a great recipe, you know, when you have a button lock with the spring, with the coil spring around the pivot, it seems to be a great way to go. Pretty Fly for a Knife Guy says, my Orion Scorpion doesn't budge. Yes, mine doesn't either. And he was one of the first people doing the flipper button lock. I mean, he was doing it with the Solaris before it became apropos for everyone to do, or not apropos, but de rigueur for everyone to do. I've never had an issue with my Protex. I think they just rushed to use the lock. I think you might be right about that, because everyone knows that people like us like to do this, you know. Speaking of that, let me show you some of these. I'll show you my favorite examples of some of these locks. Todd Carr, not big on plunge style button locks, the weakest design of any lock, not to mention ongoing issues with long-term usage. Oh, well, let me show you this. Something I noticed on the CJRB. It seems they've really put a deep notch in the tang there. Let me see if I can get that to focus. But that notch in there that the lock sits in seems to be deep and crisp. You know what I mean? There's one deep and crisp and even, as the snow lay roundabout. And you can see it on both sides. It really seems to seat in there. I think they were conscious when they were designing this, like consciously trying to make it not get all jacked up. Let's see. God. There we go. It seems to be really... It seems to be that they were making a conscious effort to make a deep notch that was nice and crisp for it to land in. JVF says, I don't like so much the weak detent on the button lock stuff. Yeah, I could see that. All right, so some cool lock types. CJRB Pyrite, you've already seen. For bar locks, and you guys let me know what you think. Edgy American says, CJRB seems to do a great job at basic liner locks. Maybe they should stick to what they do well, except the RIA F. F the RIA. I hate it. That was the first. Was that the first one that they came out with? It is a kind of a dog. James Moore says, FYI, the Deshorn ball. FYI, the Deshorn ball release is like a next generation button lock. JP Martin makes a variation on the same mechanism. JP Martin, is that what's it called? That lock, James. Will B says, having the Protect Mordax makes me want the original Ferrum Forge Mordax. Ooh, that'd be cool. So for the bar locks, my favorite is still the Hogue. I love the Hogue bar lock on my Ritter here. Can't do it with my left hand, but I really, really think that this is the best so far. And I was looking through my Benchmade is very good, and by Benchmade I mean my Bug Out is really excellent. James Jones says guns and knives are like having a library, more better. Oh, wait, guns and knives are like having a library, more better. I agree. I mean, I can't disagree with that, James. Yeah, I think Hogue does it great. And I think that Benchmade still does it well. But this one is my favorite. Let me know what you think. Zach Stuff. Thank you, Zach. That's very generous. I appreciate it. DSKFS. What does that mean? DSKFS. I don't know, but I like it. Hashtag DSKFS. DeMarco. No, that's not for DeMarco, but I'm going to Zach, I know you have a real love for the 940. I do not have a 940 here, but I am going to salute you with something extremely cool. What shall it be? I think I'm going to go classic. I'm going to go a little bit old school, though. This one it's oldish. I got this in the 2000s, but when I was still living in New York. And I remember it, I thought it got lost in the mail. I ordered it to the place I was working, and I had to go bust some heads in the mailroom to finally get it. But this is my super SOG Bowie. It's the knife that made SOG. And, I kind of wish they just kind of stayed in this area, because they made for a long time some really beautiful fixed blade knives with stacked leather handles based on combat classics. And this is based on the Mac V SOG. It is the Mac V SOG. That's like pretty much the exact design. And I love all the riffs everyone has done on it. I would love to have the Bark River Mac V SOG, though a Mac V SOG with a convex grind and a flat bevel seems a little weird to me. I do love this coating, and I love the way the light plays on the hollow grind. I know it's not just for looking, it's for using, but I've never ever used this. This used to be my travel knife when my wife lived in DC and I lived in New York, before we were married, and before we moved in together in New York. I would take the train all the time down here to visit her, and this was my travel knife for a long time. It supplanted my Master Tonto from Cold Steel. Anyway, this is what I'm going to salute you to with, Max. I really appreciate it. Zach, I called you Max. Zach, I really appreciate your $5 super chat. That's generous and awesome of you. Thank you very much. This is for you, sir. And then, so is this swim by as if it's a shark. Look at that. Oh, that is a beautiful knife. The double peaked Bowies. I know it can be polarizing. Do something kind for someone. That's cool. Yes, I will do something kind for someone. Yes. Just not on the road. Look at that. That is a beautiful thing. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate it, man. Greatly. Todd Carr, the button on the Spyderco Smock and the brown lock on FSD are much better designs for a button lock. Wish more companies would start using them more. What is that? What is the FSD? FSD. It's just, I don't know what that is. Zach, nice salute, Knife Junkie. Well, thank you, sir. Nice, very nice gesture. I appreciate the super chat. Professor EDC, good to have you here, Professor EDC. Evening, fine gents. Bob, Jim, hope everyone is doing well. I hope you are doing well, sir. Paper Tiger, evening all. Good evening to you, Paper Tiger. I'm just about to show off. Okay, for the back lock, obviously my answer is going to be the Axis lock as a Cold Steel. I'm not going to call myself a fanboy. I'm going to call myself a fan man. I am a true fan of Cold Steel, though I think a true fan will accept and love everything. I think they've gone a little bit off the rails with their latest large, the Titan, I think it's called, their latest large knife, which has it has not been released yet, I don't believe, but it's very ham-fisted. It looks, I'm going to say this, but it looks like it came off the drawing table of a 8 to 12-year-old boy. I mean, it looks like something I would have drawn a while ago. It's just not quite as refined as the DeMarco designs. And I think when you're going real big like this, 5.5-inch Espada or larger, you really do have to refine the design. Otherwise, it's going to look comical. Five Door says, only Bob pulls out a bigger knife than Rambo and casually says, this was my travel knife. Oh, shucks. That's only an 8.5-inch blade there. I think Rambo's was 9 in the first movie, and then 10, they got progressively larger as he got older. And I understand that. Jeremy Nedro, good to have you here, Jeremy. I really hate what's happening to Cold Steel. I think they've done a decent job at maintaining the classics. Uh, but yeah, that new one, mm-mm, I just don't see it. I don't see it. And the Titan lock, I guess, is probably pretty good, but why? Why? I guess to differentiate themselves, and there are probably some designers there who have to differentiate themselves from the great Andrew Demko, who designed this with Lynn Thompson, and of course designed the super strong triad lock. I have many of them, but I got to say this is my favorite because it's so directly based on the Navaja, my favorite folding knife of all time. Dan Satermo, good to see you here, Dan. Watching quietly, but wanted to say hello, Bob, Jim, and y'all junkies. Dan, always a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure. And that avatar always makes, gives me good feels. So you look like you're in a car somewhere in the summertime, having a good old time tooling around. And I love that. So yeah, probably my favorite of all the locks, or my favorite of all the back locks anyway, is the Espada XL. Also, you might know of a little kind of lock called the frame lock, or the integral frame lock, by Chris Reeve Knives. And incidentally, my favorite happens to be the Chris Reeve Knives frame lock. So I'm going with the this one, the Sebenza 21. It's just flawless. Mine is flawless. Now, I have heard that some of the new ones, some of the 31s have had issues, which seems crazy to me. Any Chris Reeve knives having issues just because they seem so labored over, and maybe it's with demand and with having to make more and more of them. Maybe it's just more likely that some will slip through that aren't, absolutely premium. But I got this, I don't know, probably like 8 years ago now, or maybe less, probably like 6 years ago. And it is flawless. And that beautiful edge is by Jared Neve. Before, when it was easier to get in the door, to get your knife sharpened by Jared Neve, I had dropped this on the tip, and I needed a rescue. He's done that with a number of my knives. Most painfully when I dropped my 20 CV Spyderco Spyderco Yojimbo on the tip and snapped a little portion off. He took care of that one really nicely. I did the same thing with my Hinderer XM18 Warncliffe. When I dropped it point down, he also saved that one. And now that Shane is with us, I'm sure he might have a thing or two to say about that. Shane, I don't know if you were here before, but I was telling people to go check out your video from earlier this week about Hinderer and the heat treat of Magna Cup. And I was saying that that's the one knife video that I've ever just I had to continue listening. I was listening to it in the morning, getting ready for work, and I just kept it going in the car. Luckily, the ladies weren't with me because I let them DJ. It's a way for me to keep up with their music and also to pump them up for school. But I had to go in extra early, so I got to listen to what I wanted to listen to. And so I listened to you talking about Hinderer. I really liked that video quite a bit. Paper Tiger says, I have 3 Chris Reeve Knives 31s, and they are great. Well, that's good to hear, Paper Tiger. I can't remember where I heard someone had a bum 31. Maybe it was right here, but I was shocked to hear that. Jeremy Nedro says, I bought the Yojimbo 2 in crewware a couple of weeks ago and really like it. I have one crewware knife, and I used it a lot for a while. That was Steingraber Performance Knives Shark in crewware. And man, his grind, most likely his geometry, because I don't think I pushed crewware anywhere near its dulling point. But it was just, flawlessly cruising through stuff. JVF, what are you doing? Thank you so much. I appreciate your €10 super chat. That's awesome, man. Nice to be there on Thursday nights, 4:30 a.m. You're going back to bed. Have a knife night. night all. That's I'm honored. I'm gonna salute you with a big old American knife right here. This is a beauty. You probably guessed. But this one is the Bark River Knives Shining Mountain Bowie. This one's for you, JVF. I know you're going back to bed, so I'll make it quick. Love this thing. Wicked. I can't believe there was a time when I tried to sell this. I guess I just must have really wanted something else, but I'm so glad I wasn't able to, because I can salute you with it on this very same happy, have a good sleep. Bonne nuit. Bonne nuit. Boom. There it is. Your Shining Mountain Bowie salute. Thank you so much for that super chat, JVF. Much appreciated. All right, I love this thing. This is wicked, and the sheath is so nice. The only thing I would change about these frog sheathed Bark Rivers, I would make the tab larger, or not the tab, but this stud like a bit larger, so that you could just slip it in the belt without it. This is just not enough to use as a belt retention thing. I have a One Good 31 and a Magna Cut 31 that has awful action. Oh boy. You know what? Magna Cut, it's like the curse of Magna Cut. The Magna Cut is obviously amazing and awesome, but why is everyone so rabbit-hearted about heat treating it properly? And I'm not suggesting that the heat treat has anything to do with the bad action on yours, but that seems to be the complaint that keeps coming back. You know, just not taking it to its maximum. And why buy with such a beautiful steel if you're not going to push it? Bob, that's the style Bowie I dislike. That peak on the spine. Okay, yeah, I think you dislike this type too. I think this might be the real, right? Like that. It's got a similar, or no, I guess maybe it is just like that, because it's got this curve and it really does look like a peak. Yeah. Yeah, we were going back and forth, Shane and I, a couple weeks back on text, and I was trying to zero in on, because he's not a big fan of Bowie knives, but I know he's a patriot through and through. And I was like, how could this be? You don't like a Bowie knives? And he was trying to explain to me the style of Bowie knife. Whereas there are some, like you probably like the Hell's Bells. I remember saying that to you, that because it's got kind of parallel lines to the end, and the clip doesn't curve. The clip is kind of straight. CRK actually, Stasa says, knives actually takes it to the correct hardness. Okay, good. But the action on that one is bunko. That's interesting. That's interesting. Maybe you should send it my way, and I'll give it a home where it will be loved. I know it's loved in your home. I'm just kidding. Stasa's videos, if you don't watch them, you need to watch them, because not only are they good, I just like his voice, and I like his take on knives. Like the one he just put out, 10 knives I wasn't expecting to love, or something like that. So good topics on his videos, but I love all the footage too. There's something very gratifying about watching you sink a knife through that thick clear tubing that looks like it puts up a lot of resistance. Anyway, I love your videos. Razorback says, that's the style of Bowie you have to hold in your teeth while diving off a ship. Indeed. That's the only way I carry my Bowie, or when I walk into work. No one mess with me today. Yeah, exactly. A Bowie in the teeth. A couple more here. I want to, favorite liner lock. Now, I originally said the Monterey Bay knives, Peter Carey design. I love Peter Carey's designs. I said this one, the Monterey Bay knives Turbo, and that's because it's one of the few titanium liner locks that I own. And of those, this is my favorite. But as I was pulling this out, I also saw this, which sits right next to it, which I hadn't thought of, which is the Three Rivers Manufacturing knife here. What is this? TRM Atom. And I love this liner lock. It's very delicate, and maybe delicate isn't the right word, because I feel like you could do a good amount of work with this, but only to a point, because everything is nice and thin and it's so refined. It's like very, very nicely done. Everything about the access to it, the lockup is pretty much 80% if we're gonna do math, and the feel is just so nice. The closing is, uh, it's got that resistance that's so smooth. It's kind of the non-bearings equivalent to the way this just smoothly drops shut. It's just so nice. So these two, I guess, represent two different types of liner lock that I just really, really love. And then I have the American Blade Works Model 1 version 5 is also a very, very nice one. And then every one of my Spyderco liner locks are awesome too. But these two really jumped out at me. JN says, I wish I needed another knife. Can't wait to try Spyderco Magna Cut Native 5. Ooh, that'll be nice, because as is always pointed out, they really do their heat treat great. Edgy American says, my favorite lock is the ball cage lock. Boom. After the Flytanium upgrade kit. Sorry, Bob, it's not available on the lightweight. That's all right, man. I wouldn't change this for the world. I'll keep it exactly the way it is. I love this. I love this. And now it's got not now. I love this knife, and it has sentimental meaning. This is, James, this is what I was referring to before when I said the ball lock. But yeah, this is not the ball lock. This is the caged. What is it? The caged. Can you show me that again, Jim? Can you show Shane's comment? It is that. But this is definitely my let's see. Lock is the ball cage lock. Okay, ball cage lock. After the Flytanium upgrade kit. Yeah. Oh, that does look cool. So that would have to be on a different Manix for sure. Jeremy Nedro, I was flipping my Manix too. How awesome. I love that. I love the visual image of people stropping their knives or doing dishes or doing, well, let's say I'd rather prefer it stropping and sharpening and fiddling with their knives. But I like the idea of people doing the kind of things I do when I'm listening to or watching knife content. A couple of wild cards. We're running up against time, and I want to show the compression lock. Now, wild card is what I'm referring to. I don't think anyone else does these locks other than Spyderco. But the compression lock is an awesome one. Now I'm doing it left-handed, so it's not quite getting the effect, but you still can a little bit. The only problem is when you do it with your left hand, your grip is tenuous at best. But right now, it's not going to drop on a concrete floor because I'm right on the table here. But this is the Yo Jumbo. Love the Yo Jumbo. I don't know why that's not coming out right. I love the Yo Jumbo almost as much as I like the Yo Jimbo. Now, this is the one I carry way more than the Yo Jimbo. I just think visually the Yo Jimbo is perfect. This is pretty darn cool. Flipping the S110V Manix. Geez, set up for left hand. So this is cool because it's all, we're all kind of on the same wavelength. Todd Carr was seriously considering the Manix 2 XL, but going to keep saving for a fixed blade. Nice. And since the Manix 2 XL is kind of like a barong, maybe you should look at the, what is it called? The Tops knife. It's like the Woods Craft something, but it looks just like a barong. It has that nice leaf-shaped blade. This adder bites. Good to see you. And I like your name. The good old frame lock. Yeah, I'm with you. Good old frame lock, but which one? Tell me the exact example. Edgy American says, I like the compression lock, but I can't feel it, so I have to search for it. My hands. Oh, I got you. My hands, my fault. I had this on me today, and you inspired that. This is the Super CQC 15, Shane. And I will send you a picture of my Emersons and send a couple off to you to check out. I just have been spending an unfortunate amount of time at work. But I'm glad I have a job. Not saying anything, Dad. Stasa says, companies haven't started using the compression lock. It's up for grabs. Is it really? That's weird. Yeah, you would think people would go for it. Second to last in my wild card is the Scorpion lock. I like this a lot, but I don't know why I don't carry it that much, and I never have. When I got this and the 8010, I got them in the same order when they first came out. So I got the 8010 with the hollow grind, and I got this. I carried the 8010 a lot more, even though I said 8010 to wed and 8015 to bed. Like, this one to me was a little sexier, but I just kept going for the other one. And now I think I need to get into this knife a little more. Ow! I just pinched my left thumb in there. See, I'm not very dexterous with my left hand. I love the 8015, says Jeremy. Yeah, yep. It is a nice one. And the Scorpion lock is cool. I'm gonna do this over here. Scorpion lock is cool. It's fidgety. There is something about it that's a little bit, I don't know. Maybe I don't know what it is. But you do reinforce it when you grip it, and it is already very strong, but your grip reinforces it. That's something I like, in theory. And this is a knife I would never get rid of for a number of reasons. But it's a wild card, and it's not necessarily my favorite. But I do think I need to get this in the pocket more and get myself some more experience. I know that Advanced Knife Bro uses his, like, it's his dedicated camp folder. At least it was a while ago. I don't know. But I thought that was cool that he uses it so, hard, but he hard uses everything. My dexterity left with my hair. Yeah. I got my power alleys working here. That's what my brother calls them. I'm not going bald. I'm growing power alleys. Todd Carr says, favorite lock for work, the Triad Lock 8010 is one hell of a knife. No doubt. Last in my wild card is the Shark Lock. Man, what a great knife this is. Talk about probably the best fidget lock out there. If fidgeting is your thing, and Greg Medford assured me in no uncertain terms that a man does not fidget, but I think he was making it. His very cool knives are not very fidgety. Maybe some of the latter day ones are, but look at that. I just love this, and that sound. You do it through a microphone. When someone's breaking into your house, they'll think you're hacking a shotgun, perhaps. And now you're like, Bob, have you ever heard of shotgun rack? Well, yes, I have. I do love both of those knives. I think Andrew Demko is just absolutely the best. And I have 3 of his locks right here. And then he's got a couple of others. That plunge, no, not the plunge lock. What's the one called on the folding outdoorsman, folding bushman? It's something else, but you pull it back and it's sort of, it gets in there, really locks up. Shark Lock is pretty elite, says this Adder Bites. Yeah, it is. It is pretty damn sweet. And it can be had at so many different price points too, Well, not so many, but you can either get one in the 125 range with the 80-20.5, or you can go high roller with the machine. This is the MG, so it's not totally high roller, but this was out of their shop, and it's the machine ground blade. And this one I was very, very lucky to get, thanks to Lavender Pants, who sent me a text a few years back saying, "Look at what my local knife shop, which was River's Edge Cutlery, pretty cool place. He picked it up for me, and I paid him back." Agreed on Demko, says 1 Minute Knife Review. What was the comment right before that? The Ram Lock. Thank you. The Ram Lock. So he's got the Scorpion Lock. He's got the Ram Lock. He's got the Shark Lock. So animals. The River Lock on the TRM Shadow is yeah, that's their bar lock, right? Professor EDC. I love the 8015. That's my favorite of the 80s. Cool. Jeremy Nedro. I refuse to buy an 80-20.5 until they upgrade the materials, and I'm about to buy one in G10 and S35VN. Very nice. We'll do it. Blade Ogre. The one lock I would like to enjoy is the Buck Marksman. Yes. Yes. I've only experienced that like one time, but yeah, it's kind of similar to the Scorpion lock in that you're pulling up and whipping down. The folding cold steel Bushman Demco knife scares me more than any other knife I own. That's funny. Why? For the pinch factor? The frame lock is my least favorite to use, but I respect it. Just not great for my hands. Yeah, like everyone's got their some people have smaller hands, some people have weaker hands, some people have issues with their hands from past injuries. There are lots of lots of locks to choose from to accommodate all of those differences. Wow. Very, very kumbaya moment here. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining. See, I moved to Virginia 12 years ago, and I'm saying y'all. I'm a Yank, okay? I'm from Ohio. We don't say y'all in Ohio, at least not in Northern Ohio. So I'm going to say thank you, everyone, for joining us. And check out some of the T-shirts, some of the designs that Jim has put together. They are awesome. This is the newest one, Knife Vibes. And then there are lots of other cool ones with snarky little comments on them with cool pictures of knives and some really catchy stuff. Yeah, check those out and wear a little bit of Jim around you. That sounded weird, but you know what I meant by that. All right, coming up on Sunday, we have Tim Kell of T-Kell Knives, and oh my God, what a great interview. That guy is so cool and so funny, and he's another former Marine. And man, we have a great conversation. We talk all about his knives, obviously, including, where's mine? Where's mine? Oh, it's somewhere here. Oh, here it is. I got to show it. The triple-edged companion. I love this thing. Guardian. He also sent along the ringed handles that you can put on here, and I had it on for a while. But I just like the smaller handle, buries in the hand and makes it easier to carry. T-Kell Knives, what a cool dude, doing cool stuff with the nickel boron coating. It's amazing. On 52100, I believe this is. So check it out this Sunday, T-Kell Knives, and then of course check out the Wednesday supplemental when we run down some other lovable topics, and then again Thursday starts the weekend. So you may now go enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much for joining us, and Jim, and for Jim working his magic behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying until next time, thank you for the comments. Thank you for the conversation and the company. I love you all. Don't take dull for an answer.